Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for Monday, October 27th, 2025. Today, we are going to be talking all about leveraging Substack to grow your subscriber base. We'll also touch on school communities and Facebook groups. So join us for this adventure. And we'll just start right off since I already introduced it before we started. Um, I think the first place we're just gonna jump right into talking about notes. So I'm gonna shrink this down, share my screen, and we shall hop over and talk about Substack a little bit in terms of, can everybody see the screen? I always have to ask this to make sure. Yes, no?
It's loading.
Okay. Let me know when we get there. Now it's reloading. And now it's not. I'm gonna stop sharing and try again because I
Yeah.
just have like the white screen here. All right. Let me see if I could close that. To edit and then just close it. All right, let's try again. Always something with the internet, right?
The wonders of technology.
And remember, we're in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, so it all makes sense.
So nothing's going smoothly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than being in Kathy's world where when it comes to technology, nothing ever works the way it should for her.
Insane. It's insane.
I have known her for months and it's always the story.
It's amazing.
It's not working the way it's supposed to. Okay, so let me come over here. This is the main, I should probably just go ahead and cover this while we're here, but this is the main, my main publication. And so if I want to get back to my back office, I just click this dashboard button. And if I want to get over to the note side, I come over here and click my profile image and I click on my, my username. And this will get us back over to the note side and it will get me to my profile. So these are the notes that I've already created. What you want to do before you do anything else is set up your profile. So you can just hit the edit button and put a banner up and put your image up and put a little blurb about what you do. And then you can put your links in here so that you can have people when they hover over your content, they will be able to they'll be able to see this, and I'll show you here in just a second. I'm trying to get this other thing to close because it seems to be really intensive. And so we're gonna, I have to keep moving you guys around. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna go to the home page to start with. Just try to close that up too. Maybe that will help. All right. So this is what the home page looks like when it comes to Substack. You've got your categories over here. These are publications that you subscribe to, and then these are the trending publications that are happening right now. You can also come up here to the search bar and search for things that are interesting to you. And this is going to be important here in just a minute. But what we want to do is come over here every day and go through the thread of what's being put out. You'll also, as you subscribe to other people's publications, you'll get notifications in your email box, and you can read and comment on those as well. Which is, it's growing on Substack is really all about interacting with other people so that you get some momentum going over here. And the easiest way to do that is through posting notes that go back to your content, posting content consistently on your newsletter side, and also interacting with other people's content in terms of restacking that content, mentioning them in things, and doing some collaborations with people. It's not a lot different than school in that aspect. The more interactions, or even Facebook, that you have with people that are kind of moving in the same area that you're moving in, the more you will get noticed. And really, it's all about becoming visible and getting people to respond to you. So there's things that you can do when it comes to posting. Oh, excuse me.
God
Over
bless you.
here that that generate more sorts of interaction than others. And some of those are to follow people who have a kind of a bigger following, but the bigger following are people that are kind of in your client base, so that you're able to comment on their comments. And then as you do that, other people will see what you're doing and they will respond as well. So when I was talking about setting up your profile, if you look at Linda, we can find out a little bit about her. So hers is just, we read what we read to know we're not alone. She just has a quote in here. But her big thing is where literature and humanity meet, so that it works for her. And I don't think she's really selling anything. There's a difference between coming over here and talking to people in terms of helping them move to the next level with you, versus just coming over here to have a voice. I think most of us are over here to monetize what we're doing. So we want to make sure that we're set up in a way that allows people to know that we have things available for them to A, purchase, or B, to take the next step with us. And with Substack, you can monetize it in terms of having paid subscribers as well as founding subscribers. So there's different levels that you can monetize at, or you can just have free subscribers. The subscriber is a person who gets on your list, so to speak, in that they get notified every time you create content, because when you create content, it's actually a newsletter and it gets sent out to everyone. There are ways that you can set it up so that it will go out later, but for the most part, it's about just sending it out to everyone on that list. You can also import any list that you already have, and that will up your subscriber base right away. I didn't choose to do that because I do several different things, and I didn't think it was fair just to bring all of my subscribers over here and say, ah, here y'all are just gonna drop you right in to this spot. So, but it's up to you. You can totally do that. All right, so let's talk about the mechanics of actually commenting and sharing. So let me find something that I want to like, that I could actually share about. Come on, computer. You can just mostly go through and like stuff. I think I want to go look at Maria's. Maria did this really cool article today. I think the best way for me to find that would be just to go over here to my, come on. To my profile. Because I did restack something she did today. So it makes it really easy. So I'm going to go over here to the article first, because I got notified that she had written this article. And it's really interesting about the psychology of dressing and how we got to the point where we're at when it comes to clothing. So I did read through this, and then I chose to find a little piece that I wanted to share. So I will highlight it, and then you hit restack, and then you can make a comment about what it is that the article is about, which I've already done, so I'm not going to do it again, and then you just click post. But then you can also go all the way down after you read the whole article to the very bottom, and you click the little heart button, and then you come over here and you leave a comment. And it's helpful if you leave a really significant comment. And then, because other people, when they come over here and they see what she's writing about, will also can comment on your comment, but they can also comment on their own stuff, and then you can come back and comment on their comments. So that's how you restack from an article. And then if you go to other more to the content, if you follow some people or subscribe to some people who have bigger audiences, when you go and comment on their stuff, there's going to be a lot of comments. And if you comment on the comments that other people are making, I think there's going to be something in here, because I commented on something that somebody was doing, which is also a really good way to get stuff going over here. Yeah. Okay, so this unstacked publication, he called out a whole bunch of people. So basically he's tagging all these people in this content that he's creating. And then, so they get notified that he's writing content around them. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of comments down here at the bottom. So there's like 48 comments. So there's lots of what I call fodder for responding and getting conversations going in the chats over here. But people end up doing this when they come by. They'll look at it, they'll see what they're about, they'll follow, sometimes they'll subscribe. But you can you can do that with everybody that's over here, but you can also, they will also do that to you. And you will get subscribers if you follow this really simple pattern of just every day spending 10 minutes looking at content, responding to content, responding to comments or making comments, and posting at least one note. And if you create notes that are around your content that you're putting up there, um, then it leads people back to your content as well, and they'll become subscribers. I do that because I post 3 times a week at least for my podcast, but I also post other content, like I'll post this mastermind up there, and then I will take some poignant parts out of it a couple times during the week and run people back to that content. So it's not like you just post it once and then it's on your newsletter side and it goes out to your people, but it also goes over to the notes side where your people who are followers, not necessarily subscribers, can also see the content. And then as you put more notes out there and you become more interactive with people, then they will start sharing your notes and restacking stuff, and that will get momentum going. It doesn't take a lot of momentum over here to really make a difference. And as we talk about this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. It's also important to know that you need to know what you want your clients or what you want your readers to do as far as the next step. You can really monetize Substack and Skool, but I like to move people from Substack into my Skool communities because I have it's easier for me to talk to them there rather than trying to just have conversations in a chat, which has all kinds of different threads and it's really confusing. Skool is really good about setting up different threads, but they're set up in a way that makes sense to follow along with what's being said. Um, and so when it comes to Skool kind of works the same way. You want to get into a variety of communities and be active there. You need, it's not so much about responding to the specific person that's going to be your client, but it's about talking about the things that are about you and what you're doing so that you can kind of draw people into your communities and into your Substack and who want to follow along. Is all of this making sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Jill, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So like when you're doing those notes and you're kind of pulling that content from the original post, do you put like a link back to the original post from the notes, or do you kind of just pull the content, the note is its own thing, and people kind of find their way back to your post?
No, when that's the beauty of restacking from the content itself,
Okay.
is it puts that little box up there with the quote in it from the content. But if you click on that, it'll take you right to that content, to that post, the larger post, which
Nice.
is if you can find pieces that make people go, oh God, I got to read the rest of that. And there's definitely an art to that. I honestly am not that great
That's
at it.
really no, that's really cool. Like I've seen people doing those quotes in the box like that, but I wasn't sure how to do that. Like how are you doing that? Do you just like highlight a section of the original post and then you have an option to like kind of restack with that?
Yeah, here, I'll just
Okay.
do it again.
All right. Right on.
Um,
This is the whole aspect I haven't been taken advantage of.
yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Go back over to the website. Here. we'll just take this article that I posted yesterday. Where I was talking about making connections with people rather than just, it was really born out of the idea. I get tired of being on Facebook and hearing this is how great I am. These are all the things that I've accomplished. Don't you wish you were me? Posts. It's like so many people post like that. And it's like, no, honey, I really don't wish I was like you. I am happy being me. And, and it's a marketing ploy. It's how marketing is done kind of on Facebook. But that's what I was talking about in this article. And so my point was that people get tired of being advertised at in a way that's just like, buy this now. And so I'm going to highlight this. And you see how that little restack button popped up there, right here?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah.
So you just click restack. And then it comes up here and you have a choice. You can have different backgrounds. Just gonna go through all of them. So these are your choices. I'm just gonna go with that one. And then you can write, does this hit home for you? Just ask a question to kind of spark people who see it. They'll either go over there and read it, or they might just answer your question on notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I did not know that. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries. And when you do that with other people's content, if you tag them in the top part, then it goes out to their audience. And if you do it with people who have larger audiences, then the larger audience gets exposed to that note and you. And that it brings people in. I'm not over here growing like thousands of people a day. I usually get 2 or 3 subscribers a day. But I get them, and they're people that do interact with me, and they open my content, and they're interested in what I'm talking about. It's not just like, you can have a lot of followers, but they don't mean anything unless they're actually interested in what you're doing. It's just a vanity metric. So I know there are lots of people over here who have thousands and thousands of subscribers. A lot of them who have thousands and thousands of subscribers brought their subscriber list over and just dumped them in here. So they may or may not be relevant to what they're creating. And I'm happy. I'm happy with a few people. I'm happy with a few people that really want to participate in what I'm doing. But everybody's their own person, and I'm not here to tell you what you should be happy with. There is another thing that I want to remind everybody about Substack, and that is that your subscriber list belongs to you, and it is a list, and you can download it over on the dashboard, and you can download your content in case anything ever happens to your Substack publication. And I highly recommend that you do this at least once a week, especially if you're growing your list, so that you always have a backup in case something does happen. It's very rare that Substack will deplatform you. I've seen them, they're really big on non-censorship. In fact, in the beginning, a couple of years ago, there was a white supremacy group that was publishing on Substack, and it took a long time for them to get kicked off. And I'm not even sure that they did get kicked off, but there was a lot of hoopla about it. because people over here are just about being curious and having an experience that is enjoyable for everyone. We can have conversations. They don't have to be arguments. And nobody has to be right, wrong all the time, which is so refreshing to me. You're not dealing with the Facebook algorithm that feeds on that negativity, the positive, negative, like right, wrong, which generates a lot of discussion because somebody always wants to be right. They can't just be like interested. And so when they get a lot of interaction like that on Facebook, Facebook is able to show them tons of advertising around what it is they're arguing about. So I prefer platforms that don't have advertising on them for that reason. Even YouTube is kind of that way. The more you can get interaction with people, the happier YouTube is, and that's why they want you on to make, video content that's really long, and they want those chapters in there so that they know where to stick their advertising. They want you to help them.
I found the Coach's Alchemist on YouTube. So yeah, and that was straight through search too. So
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I discovered you, and then you invited me to your school group, and then now I'm here hanging out with all you guys. So
yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Yeah, I have a
Mhm.
question for you guys. Kind of a tactical question, and you might or might not have an answer for this. I don't know. Have you guys noticed when you have subscribers that your newsletters or your emails are going to promotions tab in Gmail? I'm noticing that a lot with Substack. So that's why I was just wondering if you guys are noticing that too.
I don't notice that so much because I don't get much in my promotions tab, I don't think. Or maybe everything goes to my promotions tab. I just the way I have my Gmail set up, it's like I have the really important stuff on top and then everything else is underneath it. So I don't really know if it's a promotions tab.
Well, you
But
guys
More
might.
worrisome it'd be if it goes to spam.
yes, Cam. For me, it does go to promotion.
Yeah,
Both
I mean, like,
Substack and school.
yeah, and I don't find that to be very good. Like, just a tiny bit of background. Like, I do email marketing. I already have a decent sized list. But
Mhm.
the Substack is separate for me. I'm doing it completely separate. With the promotions, I do think it like decreases our visibility, with when our newsletters go to promotions. I don't know. You guys might try to just subscribe into your own newsletters with like a different email just to see what happens. If it does go to promotions, it's not a bad idea to put like a little, like a little PS in your first email, like, hey, if this email went to, promotions, here's what you can do to not have that happen anymore or whatever. Like, whitelist this email and move it back over to your inbox. Just little things that would kind of like guide the algorithm not to put your emails in the promotions tab anymore. So you actually get seen. You guys work so hard on your newsletters that like I would hate for them just to get ignored by your people.
That's a good piece of advice. Thank you.
It is a great piece of advice, and you can do that even just by making a footer statement.
Mhm.
You can create footers, headers and footers on your Substack, and just putting that in there, even putting it in the header section, if this showed up there, and encouraging people to respond, because it is the more that people hit that heart button on when you get something from Substack, somebody's newsletter from Substack, it comes as the post. And then there's like the heart button, and there's the comment, and then there's a restack. Those little emblems show up on the newsletter itself. And if you click them, then you're taken directly over to Substack. And if you follow through while you're there and do hit that heart button and you restack something and you leave a comment, a meaningful comment about the post that you just read, it it will signal to Google that you're interested in this person, and it will move it up into your important box. I know because I do that on some of the Substacks that I have, and some of them do show up like they're right at the top, and others they go in different spaces. But I know the more you can get people to interact with what you're doing, the more that Gmail specifically, but other email services as well will look at it and say, yeah, this person's serious about interacting with this content. We're gonna put it in the right place. But again, it goes back to giving them a reason to do it other than just saying, hey, whitelist this email. Interaction is like the key signal with emails in my experience, and getting them to open it. So titles are really important. How you title your content.
Those are great points. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up because it's a really important. It is you're creating a newsletter, so it is really email marketing, and people just getting started in that, they're like, well, maybe. It's why school only lets you email people every 72 hours also, because they don't want you flooding and wrecking their IP address. I think that's why they limit the DMs as well. They want to keep them kind of special.
Keep them special.
Yes.
And it also forces people to have these conversations in the community rather than in the chat
Mhm.
box, which, when people ask you stuff, it's better if the whole community can see it, because the whole community can benefit from it and give you feedback. And it's why I like groups much better than one-on-one conversations with stuff.
Yes.
There's always good feedback.
Yeah. And different perspectives. It's like, so I like doing these masterminds, and I don't like people just sitting on mute because
Yeah, no, it's much better. Interactive is better.
yeah.
Hey, listen, I am a loudmouth, okay? So I put it on mute so I don't step over people. I don't want to step on anybody, okay? I have a question for you guys. Have you so I've tried a few different kinds of notes on Skool, or not Skool, Substack. I mean, I've done the video clip note, where and I've done the just the written note, and then I've done the restack note where you kind of restack someone else's content. Now it seems like for me, I get the most traction out of just the written notes when I just write something that is interesting, to me or whatever. And it seems like that gets the most traction. My video notes, they get no traction, hardly at all. And then the restacks seems like they get a little traction, especially the person who I'm restacking, but not a lot of traction other than that. Do you guys have a similar experience, or what are you guys noticing?
I'm gonna listen to what you guys. It's gonna be mostly Maria, because Kurt just got started and Kathy's not really. She's not there yet. She's
I'm
been
not
in
there
travel mode, so she's getting ready to.
I've been running around the
get
country.
ready.
I've been
If
there.
you have a perspective, I don't know if it would make sense, this perspective though, but if you look at other social media content, it's actually really popular. Like Instagram automatically has everything on mute, so you can scroll and it doesn't overtake your volume. Most people just read the subtitles, the captions. They don't care about it being loud. And I don't know how that translates to what you just asked, Cam, but it might.
So are you saying that you think so what I was saying was it seems like the written notes, they seem to get the most traction for me. So
That's
are you
right.
saying that the written content is somehow it's not as loud for people? It stops the scroll, you think?
I'm not sure, but I was just wondering how that kind of connected with what you said,
Interesting.
because
Gotcha.
I've done it myself. I've preferred not to have the noise and just read the caption. It kind of pulls me in more. and then I'll just keep scrolling. But I have no
Interesting.
idea how Substack works yet, so I can't really say.
No, that's
Substack
cool,
is
man.
more dedicated to readers and writers.
I was
Yes.
gonna
And
say.
they are not as a community all that happy about video content coming up over there. They don't want it to be another TikTok or Instagram. And they're very vocal about it. You know, if
Well,
you
they
follow
could be
some of
on.
the people that are there that are really helping to shape the community, they don't, that's why they don't really reward video content so much. They want written content, they want there's still, you know, the group of people that when you write content, it helps if you break it up a lot. And you know how the blogging, it's like no more than 300 words between headers. And then just a couple sentences. Walls of text are still difficult for people, but more people will read walls of text over on Substack than anywhere else, but not in the notes section. The notes section needs to be Twitter-esque. It can be a little longer. You can set it up so that it is visually appealing to people, where they'll just like they'll get it. I've done memes over there. Memes can do really well. I had one that says don't fuck with writers, will describe you. And God, I have so many subscribers from that meme. I run it every once in a while just because it gets so much interaction. It just hits some place where with the writers over on Substack. So there's
Yeah, because it's writers related.
It,
That's a platform for writers, for readers, and for people that have got something in here and they want to use it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
not about
Like
dancing, it's not
curiosity.
about music, it's not about flashy images.
It's good information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
Yes.
not on doing the podcast yet or anything, but I do share a lot of stuff on Substack, and I get so many people following me, and I don't even know where to go to see who's following me yet because I still can't figure it out. But I get people following me all the time. But I do a lot of vaccine stuff, and that might be why. But I'm amazed at how many people start following me.
So
Mhm.
would it be the majority of the people on Substack are entrepreneurs or not entrepreneurs?
I don't
There,
think it has to do with that. I think it has, sorry that I spoke over
no, go
someone.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
I think it's genuinely about people who are on Substack, people who read Substack, is people that want to, I don't want to say necessarily educated, because me myself, I'm not really academically educated
It's
in
very
any way.
knowledgeable, though. It's a lot of knowledge.
But yes, like they want to learn things, and
Yeah.
they have some kind of, they have a knowledge, a set of the, the know-how, and they want to share it. So that's more in-depth connection that you can create than just a video. Because I'm like you, like if I watch a video before, it was just like reading whatever comes up on it, and if it's not like one of those videos, I would just
Because it
scroll
takes
past
time to
it.
read.
Yes, but it's a lot more interesting that you can read, and you have a different perspective, and you can have a conversation, and what you put out there has got visibility beyond whatever algorithm Zuckerberg wakes up with one morning and they change it, and then he changes again, and then it changes again. And I know you guys don't know me, but I am one of those anti-meta people that I wish I could start a movement to move everybody over to school at Substack and sabotage Zuckerberg. Um, Simply because, like what Jill was saying, the algorithm uses the fact that our brain gets so stuck on negativity that keeps the scrolling. More argument goes on a topic, and the more you are stuck on that platform. And on an energetic level, that's really detrimental for us. for our energy, for our brain. So I personally, and I think it's the majority of people on Substack, we don't want that. We don't want to learn that way. We don't want to learn at the expense of our own well-being.
It's a good
And
point.
also the fakery that Jill was saying, which you've actually given me an idea for the next Substack blog on the look at me syndrome from social media. It's a lot about this made up reality that lives on that platform. And that's it.
Another point about Substack and about Skool, I just found out over the weekend, is that your posts actually can rank in Google. It's
Yeah.
searchable. And there's a place on Substack that I know of for sure where you can decide whether or not you want AI to learn from your content. And I'm all about, yes,
Mhm.
AI is here to stay. We may as well
Yeah.
Yeah.
contribute what we can to make it the best experience for everyone that we can, rather than letting it, because the more we interact with it, the more we train it,
Mhm.
we're all collectively helping it grow and develop. And I think it's important that everybody participates, that you get the best out of it.
Yes.
Agreed.
All right. So where do we go from here?
I think part of the reason why people don't really have their volume on is most people are working while they surf on the internet. And I used to work in a big company. All the employees would be hiding in corners on their phone, and if they had their volume on, everyone would know they're on their phone. So I think that's another caveat.
Oh,
Most
really?
people that are on the internet are literally also on the clock. So that could be part of it too.
Kind of sad,
That's
isn't it?
point.
interesting. Yeah, that's terrible.
That's a really good point, Kurt.
Of course, we would
Um,
all do it.
I worked in a jail, so we couldn't bring our phones into the jail.
Yeah, well, okay.
Uh,
Understandable.
I haven't been employable since cell phones became a thing. So
Amazing.
Good to say.
That's what I want to get at, to become completely unemployable.
Well, it's great being retired.
So never. Question. You guys were talking about, I can't remember the term. Cam said it with the, I don't know if it's parts of your main post. What did you call that? You just posted there.
restacking.
Restacking? Would it not be
It's Substack's word for
considered like
sharing.
having a
Yeah.
good title, kind of like clickbaiting, just to get someone to click on it? Wouldn't that make more sense instead of having volume?
Okay, we're talking about a couple different things here, Kurt. One is when you're creating your newsletter, you definitely want a clickbaity title. You want that title to
Right.
be something that's just like, I've got to open this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I got to find the answer.
absolutely.
Which sounds so easy, but for me, I don't know. It's just
You don't click on a lot?
no, it's really hard for me to think of things like that. And I argue with AI about it all the time. Like, no, that's not clickbaity. I wouldn't click on that. So trying to find a good motivating group of words to get people to open your emails and read your content. That's the number one issue. When it comes to notes, when you're sharing content into your notes, it will share the whole, Substack automatically shares your whole article after you create it. So it goes out to your subscribers, it goes over to the note side, and people can see it over there, and it's in the app. And then you can also share snippets out of your content. And if you create quotes when you're creating your content, that's like saying, highlight this and share it, because it's really it's good. And so if you can put clickbaity things in your content, quotable things, that are really shareable, that would inspire people to come back to your content, I think that's a good strategy for sharing, for restacking, not just you restacking your own content, but when other people visit it, they're like, oh, I can share that instead of having to look for something. Making it easy for people to reshare things is like part of the game as well over there.
That's a great point, Jill. You guys talking about clickability and making things, kind of click. One thing I noticed, networking on Substack, when I started, a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to network for 30 minutes a day on Substack. And I'd make my rounds and I'd try to like comment on people's stuff, and it kind of became a kind of check the boxes kind of situation. And maybe, my comments really weren't that meaningful. Maybe it was like a sentence or two or something. Hey, great post. You made some great points in there, and that was it. Right. And then I kind of switched my tactics up, like maybe a week ago, maybe a few days ago, I can't remember, but I kind of said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about how many people I make my rounds to. If I do this whole half an hour and I only talk to one person, that's okay. I'm only going to leave really meaningful comments that actually mean something. So then I started, I'll give you an example. Okay. So like somebody put a post on there, or a note that talked about how they were proud that they finally had this many views. They've now had this many views on their Substack. It was a pretty good number. It was like, I don't know, like 200,000 views or something on their Substack. And I was like, before I was saying stuff like, hey, wow, great job. This time I was like, the city of Akron, Ohio, and it's known as the rubber capital of the world. And I gave a couple details about Akron, Ohio, right? And I said, and I just mention it because there's only like 180,000 people who live in Akron, Ohio. So now, like, you've had more people view your Substack than the entire city of Akron, Ohio. Nice job. And that got a lot of attention. They liked that. They had their people liked it. So all I'm saying is it seems like I'm getting more traction by leaving these more thoughtful, meaningful comments. It takes longer to do them and you get less done in the time you have to network, but they seem to go further. You get more bang for more juice for the squeeze, as they would say.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
Cam, if you take nothing else away from this conversation we had today, that it's giving people a frame of reference to understand what the bigger picture is. You say 200,000 people. I'm extraordinarily proud of the fact I have 725 subscribers. 725 people, if you put them all together, that's a huge number of people.
Mhm.
And I have their attention. That's a big deal. 200,000, that's a city. When I used to study the Bible a lot, and in the Exodus, they talk about 1 million people walked out of Egypt. 1 million people is like how many people live in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a huge number of people, and they all were walking through the desert. What about food? What about sanitary things? I mean, I think about like the weird stuff, water. We had the experience of people using wagon trains to get across the country in the United States, but those were like groups of 20 or maybe 30 or 40 people, and they had wagon trains. What did that look like with 1 million people walking?
It's crazy.
Right,
I mean,
right, right.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, right. I'm agreeing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it's a little easy, right, on the internet for these numbers to get disconnected, and it just kind of feels like a video game. Yeah, it's smart to kind of like circle it back around to like perspective, like you're saying.
And when you leave perspective on people's posts, and when you leave perspective on or ask questions about what the content is, or you continue the conversation that started by the post. And I have conversations about things that are just interesting to me that I care about, not necessarily stuff that has to do with marketing on Substack. You know, there's people that think you should only stay in your lane, and this is the only thing that you should be known for. Well, I think we're just people, and we all have a lot of different interests out there, and we all have a lot of different perspectives to share. Um, and the older you get, really, the more things that you have to draw on from the past, where what you're sharing, people might not really even remember or recognize how things used to be. And I think it's important that those things get shared as well. And
Yeah.
when you're spending time in school or over on Substack or even on Facebook, if you're still over there, or LinkedIn, it's or YouTube, it's all about creating conversation and helping people come together rather than being so fractured like we are in the world. And I think the more that we can do that, the better service we are to the world, which goes with my mission, you know.
Yeah.
I want to change the world.
We must change the world
Yeah.
for our grandbabies.
But in case of your comment, I think it's because you put like an interesting piece of trivia that a lot of people wouldn't know about it. And that's why it worked, because you shared the piece of knowledge that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Maria. And I think, yeah, absolutely. I think, and it's almost like, you know, we don't think about it, right? But we were talking about clickability, and I'm sending this email out. I need my subject line to be interesting so people open it. Or, I'm going to put a new post on Substack. I need this title to be like perfect, so people, it needs to be polarizing so people click on it. But yeah, I think that maybe we do overlook the comments a little bit, because the comment is another place where we can be a little polarizing. We can be a little interesting, and we'll pull people around us with those comments.
Yeah.
And commenting on other people's comments also helps a lot.
Comments are great.
They're in that post, and they're making comments, and they're wanting to be heard and seen as well. And if you're engaging them, you're helping the post overall, and you're getting more visibility because you're showing up. And that's what works over on Skool as well, in different communities on Skool. You don't have to be the expert, because I mean, people are going into these communities to learn from somebody who's put the community together. But if you have things that are like helpful or encouraging or unique that you can add to the conversation, it helps the community, and it helps the community get exposure too.
Yeah.
Another thing that has seemed to work for me pretty good these last couple of weeks has been, you know, just lifting other people up. Kind of goes back to that old Dale Carnegie quote, like, I can make more friends in like 2 weeks by taking an interest in other people than I can in like 2 years by trying to get people interested in me. So like just kind of lifting other people up. And it seems like you start getting lifted up in the process, even if you're not even trying to get lifted up, you're just lifting other people up with no ulterior motive. Okay. Like no ulterior motive, just trying to shout other people out. And it seems to help a little bit with the networking.
To
It
help
helps a
everybody
lot.
navigate. Yep. Absolutely.
And that's kind of where my podcast got started. It was just about showcasing what other people are doing. And I just want to
Wanna
give
help
people a
people.
platform
Yeah.
to share what they're doing in the world.
And
Yeah,
you're
the
still doing it,
rising
Jill.
tide
You're
lifts
still
all boats.
sorry,
Yeah.
Kurt, go ahead, man.
I am still doing it.
Yeah, you
What's
invited
that?
me to this show, and you know, I just kind of started coming around, and like, you know, constantly still lifting people up. So it's awesome.
Yeah. We all lift each other up. I just like, nobody has all the answers, regardless if they try to tell you that they do or not. Then the answers change from day to day. You know, what's
Yeah, because when I
working
was
today is
18,
not.
yeah, right. Because when I was 18, I had it all figured out, and now I'm 49 and I don't know anything.
And my parents, God, they got so smart when I got older. I'm waiting for my kids to catch up.
Yes. It's not easy.
Recognize my brilliance.
Yep. It's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, you guys. How do you feel about all of this? Are you ready to go out and start posting notes and interacting over on Substack? And
Yeah,
I
it's
do
like
wanna
the
good.
let-
challenge.
It,
I like the challenge that you
especially for
created. That's cool.
my first day.
do go into the school community. I'm doing the 30-day boost your notes challenge over there, and just put the link to your note, which you can find when you post your note. If you go over either to the note itself or over to your profile, you can find there's like 3 little dots on the right hand side. If you click that, you can get the link to the note and just paste that for the day that we're on, and I'll try to pin each day's note boost, and then go and visit other people's notes, comment on them, go read their articles, comment on the articles, restack them, like them, share them. The more that we do that for each other, the more visibility we start to generate around what we're doing. And invite people to join the school community, because the more people we have in there, the more people we have getting on Substack and sharing the
together.
notes and stuff. And it's a synergy engine. The more people that are working together, the faster we'll all grow together. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Join us next week.
Hey, nice to meet
As we-
everybody. Thanks for
Okay.
Yeah,
having
it
me.
was great to
You
see
too.
you here, Kim and Kurt.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. See you guys.
Take care.
And
Take care.
have
Bye-bye.
a great week.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
y'all.